with SNB. The careful and responsible management of something entrusted to one's care is called stewardship. Watch Stewardship with SNB on RSTV. Holds you to account.
Whether you're in school or not, any opportunity we create for skill acquisition, please avail yourself that opportunity. But like I said, you can also
around there, you know that they have what is called bush market. Very early in the morning, as early as 4 o'clock, down the road.
I'm a lawyer. Let him sue me. The man has not cited one project, constituency project, from that 1990.
If they are there
today,
I'm saying they are not much. If they are there in the element, I don't want to join issue with my brother.
Watch Stewardship with SNB whenever, wherever, however, at this time on RSTV. Stewardship with SNB. Hello, good afternoon, and once again, welcome to the program Stewardship live here in the studios of Riverside Television, Channel 22, Port Harcourt. Today is a big day and the house is full. But before I unveil my guests, let's, as usual, have my take. Political parties perform an important task in government. They bring people together to achieve control of government, develop policies favorable to their interests or the groups that support them, organize and persuade voters to elect their candidates to office. But are there differences between government and politics? These two terms involve the people and the process that takes over a particular state. In other words, government refers to the group of people running the country or state, whereas politics refers to the process of running the country or state. In brief, if the root is politics, the fruit is government. In today's edition of the program, we shall consider government and politics. Where does the relationship lie? And of course, disaster effects and management. It's a social contract signed between the government and the people to ensure that the government will protect the people as long as the people let the government do what is best for them. Disaster management is very important to survive in the case of natural or major man-made disaster, and can be defined as the organization and management of resources and responsibilities for dealing with all humanitarian aspects of emergencies, in particular preparedness, responses, and recovery. The aim is to reduce the harmful effects of all disasters. Joining me live in the studio are gentlemen of inestimable value who are heads of agencies in their own right. John Insane BAZIA is a politician from Botem, Thai local government area. He was once represented Thai in the River State House of Assembly from 1999 to 2007. He is a member of the River State People's Democratic Party. He was also the Commissioner for Chieftaincy and Community Affairs in 2015. He is currently the Commissioner for Special Duties, River State, Dr. John BAZIA. My other guest is a seasoned banker, mainstream financial expert with about 20 years banking operations, ranging from recovery, branch operations, financial analysis, credit, and marketing. He began his banking career with the then African Continental Bank ACB, from where he joined the defunct All States Trust Bank PLC. He also had a stint in Foundation Trust Bank PLC, New Nigeria Bank NNB, Unity Bank PLC, African Bank PLC, and then First Bank PLC, where he was at various times branch manager and head debt recovery unit in their Port Harcourt office. He is a holder of a bachelor's degree in economics, master's of business administration degree, general management, a master's of science degree in economics, and has also bagged a doctorate degree in economics. My guest is the MD, CEO, River State Microfinance Agency, RIMA, Dr. IPALIBO Watson SOGULE. We'll take a short break and then we'll come back to the studio live. Let's take a short break. With SNB. holds you to account on
Whether you're in
stewardship.
school or not, any opportunity we create for skill acquisition, please avail yourself that opportunity. Like I said, you can
If you
also
live around there, you know that they have what is called bush market. Very early in the morning, as early as 4 o'clock, down the road.
I'm a
And
lawyer.
during
Let
and
him
about
sue
7,
me. The man has not cited one project, constituency project, from that 1990.
If they are there
Today.
I'm saying they are not much. If they are there in the element, I don't want to join issue with my brother.
Watch Stewardship with SNB whenever, wherever, however, this time on RSTV. Stewardship with SNB holds you to account on
whether you're in
stewardship.
school or not, any opportunity we create for skill acquisition, please avail yourself that opportunity. Like I said, you can
if you
also
live around there, you know that they have what is called bush market. Very early in the morning, as early as 4 o'clock, down the road.
I'm a
And
lawyer.
during
Let
and
him
about
sue
7,
me. The man has not cited one project, constituency project, from that 1990.
If they are there
Today.
I'm saying they are not much. If they are there in the element, I don't want to join issue with my brother.
Watch Stewardship with SNB whenever, wherever, however, this time on RSTV. Stewardship with SNB. Yes, I'm being joined by two gentlemen of inestimable value. First is Dr. IPALIBO SOGULE, who is the MD CEO of River State Microfinance Agency. Doctor, welcome to Stewardship.
Thank you very much.
And then we also have in the studio Dr. John BAZIA, he is the Commissioner for Special Duties here in River State. Honorable Commissioner, you're welcome to Stewardship.
Thank you very much.
Well, to join the conversation, you can call the number 080-3341-3360 or send text messages only to the number 085-3478-400. Join our social platforms on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Stewardship with SNB. You can also watch us live on GoTV channel 103 and StarTimes channel 113. My name is Solomon Nelson Braid, pleading with you to join me as we take them through soft and hard questions. Honorable Commissioner, I guess you're just coming from the site of the collapsed building.
Exactly.
It's really pathetic.
It
But
is.
what actually happened before we go into other issues?
Well, the much that we know is that at about 4:45, there about PM, we got a call.
You're referring to last week Friday.
Yeah, last week Friday, that a 7-story building that was under construction had just collapsed. And immediately, I called my men and we mobilized to site. Good enough, some other organizations like Shell, MCC, LNG, NNIG, MGS, the Red Cross, Rotary, several other organizations, including those who willingly volunteered. And we've been at it. We were made to understand that it was going to be a hotel and it was under construction.
Honorable Commissioner, what is to blame? Is it poor building plan or poor enforcement of extant laws that govern construction work?
I think the investigation will unravel all that. What I'm concerned about as a ministry is that ours is to ensure, that when there is emergency, when there is disaster, ours is to ensure that we save lives and see how to rescue the people. By so doing, we can save life or save the situation. So everything that has to do with emergency management, disaster management, and I think that at the end of this, because I've just resumed in this ministry, at the end of this we'll have a roadmap so that we can have a rapid response as to emergencies. And when we are talking about emergency management, I don't think that it should just be about fire disaster. We are talking about natural disaster. We are talking about things of this nature, including flooding. We've had that before now. Then even when we have crude oil spill, these are all disasters. These are all emergency situations. And I think that, as a people, we should have a roadmap as to how we respond to these situations when they happen. And the sad thing about it is that they happen without telling.
Yes.
Suddenly. And, sometimes you could be unprepared.
Yeah.
So I want us to be in a state of preparedness so that when disaster strikes, we can react immediately. But I think that so far we've done very well, even without what I would call a roadmap, because I've just come into the ministry. I don't think I'm more than maybe a fortnight and a week or so.
Old in the ministry.
In the ministry.
But you are a seasoned politician, and of course you've been a commissioner, and you know how government works. But just before we take you on some other issues, let me go over to Dr. IPALIBO SOGULE. You are in charge of microfinance, and some women were said to be supplying food to the workers around there, and your agency gives out loans to women traders, petty traders, and all of that. What's your view?
Yeah, it's very pathetic, and I want to sympathize with the Rivers people and the government of Rivers State for the disasters that have happened. It is not by man-making. It's a disaster that wasn't planned for. Yeah, for us, yes, we fund businesses, and those businesses sometimes when they get marketed, that's where they go to trade. It's something that we can't think of, because some of those risks that we face, because you can't go and recover your loan when you don't see them, definitely.
Honorable Commissioner, when the disaster occurred, government quickly swung into action by deploying equipment and appealing to public-spirited individuals to help the situation. And then after that, he also visited. Let's see what the governor said. Studio, please, could you assist us? He visited and made far-reaching policy statements.
But I assure the government will take every necessary step to make sure that corporates for this will not go free. It's very painful, very painful. And of course, government will take steps to acquire this property. We cannot allow this. And if you look at the planning of this area, you don't allow for single-story building here. So we must go deeply to find out what led to the approval, and whether, even when approved, whether they are building according to specification. All those things are very, very necessary. So I feel so pained, I feel so touched at this point in time that we will begin to face with this kind of calamity. It's so touching, and I also will commensurate with the families that have lost their beloved ones, who have come for their daily bread, who have come to work to survive and take care of their families. And today they are no longer there. I commensurate with the families, and I believe that government will do all it can to give them all the necessary support.
Soon after the collapse, the governor gave order for investigations to be carried out. What is the extent of investigations that you know?
Yeah, I think, though it's not actually my place to comment about how the investigation is going to go on, but I know that immediately they will spring into action. And with the investigation, we will be able to unravel exactly why it happened. We'll now know if it is a structural defect. We'll know if it is a foundational problem. Because if you're going to put up a 7-story building, the kind of foundation for it will be the same thing with when you're putting up a 2-story building. Then we'll also find out whether the likelihood that that kind of project should, a whole lot. But I think that
accident and disaster management, there are two things that come into play: equipment and, of course, sometimes sabotage. Do you perceive any form of sabotage in the rescue effort?
In the rescue effort, I don't think we've discovered anything that can pinpoint to sabotage.
Do you have any difficulties with equipment?
Well, the truth is that in Nigeria here, we don't have all the equipments that we need. Like, for instance, we are thinking about pulling down, what is the upper part of the building. And for us to do that, we need a crane that is above 250. So far, Shell has brought 220 tons and all that, but they can't lift it. So we are still having a problem of equipment when it comes to this country. But however, I must commend the organizations here in River State because they've all been trying, they've all been seeing to what they can do to help in the rescue operations.
Honorable Commissioner, rescue operations effort is still ongoing. As at yesterday or so, we learned that a body was recovered from the rubble, dead or alive.
That's true.
Yes. How many survivors do we have?
As of yesterday, a body was recovered, though dead. First and foremost, let me say that our heart goes out to the bereaved families. It is unfortunate. His Excellency the Governor has stated this clearly. We all know him. He's the true Rivers man. This is one governor that does not pretend. This is one governor that says it the way it is. He is the true Rivers man. And of course, when issues affect Rivers people, it affects him. That day I looked at his face and you will see that this was a man who was in pains. He was in pains. And you can see he came with his wife. His wife was equally in pain. So he gave us the charge as soon as it happened that everybody that was in that building must be rescued. And that's what we are doing. But to go back to what you were saying, so far we have rescued 39 persons. Out of these 39 persons, with that of yesterday, 8 dead.
8 dead?
Yes, 31 alive.
Where are they? In the hospital?
They are in the hospital. And I think that right now some too has been discharged.
Okay.
A few of them has been discharged.
Okay.
But my own advice is this, because we hear a lot of misinformation. And I think the proper thing to do is to let the people know the truth and nothing but the truth, because it's about our own people. And I don't think that we need to play politics about this. This is natural disaster. We don't need to play politics with it, because some people are on either different media houses saying what is not. The figures that I've given you, this is the authentic figure. Because everybody on that site is expected to report to me. And people are not supposed to make utterances without reaching out to me to confirm.
As the commissioner in charge.
As the commissioner in charge. Let me also say this, because there's this apathy, there's this carefree attitude of some people. And like I've always said, you can't do two things at the same time. Those who are talking are not working. They are not contributing. Because if you're actually rescuing these people, then you won't be saying rubbish. When disasters struck in some other countries, not too long ago, we remember the young soccer players that were trapped in the tunnel. They stayed there for 2 weeks. What the country did, what the people did, was to continue to commend them. In the process, one of those that were supposed to rescue them died. But people were, appreciating their efforts. That way, they will do more. They will do better. But the reverse is the case with some of our people here. You won't believe it that somebody stole me with pure water.
There?
Over there. I'm
Why?
being very honest.
An angry person?
whatever he feels, and they don't know what we are doing. If you look at the buildings that's collapsed underground, we have tunnels there. We have to dig tunnels beneath it.
That's the building
That's
as it
the
was
building
before it
as
collapsed.
Before it collapsed.
Yes.
We have to dig tunnels beneath it. That way we can rescue those that were alive. And if you look at the statistics, if so far 39 and 8, though the life of every human being is important, even if it were to be one person, I mean, that is bad. But we're looking at a situation where you have 39
bodies
we have recovered and 8 dead and 31 alive. So I think that what we need from the people is support. What we need from the people, especially those who are helping in rescue operation, is commendation. They should thank them rather than criticizing them. Because nobody prayed for this.
Commissioner, we have a whole lot of questions for you, but let me go over to Dr. IPALIBO SOGULE. Now, we're here talking, but loved ones have lost lives, and it's very painful, I must tell you. Now, how do you think the survivors can get succor, relief?
Yeah, like my other commissioner said, it's very painful. We all accept it. The families are bereaved, and their loved one who went for their daily bread suddenly met an accident, and some of them died. Yeah, the government are already in it. People are being treated, and I think the governor is a governor that has passion. Of course, you know what happened when the market got bumped. He compensated some of them. So you don't know what the governor will come up with. By the time the Commission of Inquiry finish the investigation and all those things, the governor might come up with a package for the families and the bereaved ones so that they can have support.
Honorable Commissioner, we will listen to a video where an expert will advise us on what to do to avoid future occurrence of such disasters. Studio, let's have your assistance, please.
From what I saw is that the collapse certainly came from the columns. The columns, what you guys call the pillars, were substandard and of low strength. Now I'm going to typify it so that you understand. It's just like giving a small child, maybe a 5-year-old child, you put a bag of garri on his head. What will happen? He will fall down. He cannot carry it. You understand? He cannot carry it. Now, if you look at the sizes of the beams, here I saw 25 mm high-yield reinforcement bars. I saw 30 mm high-yield reinforcement bars. I saw 16 and all. Now, if you look at the beams are as thick as 600 mm, which is 2 foot, right? Yes. All of those beams are resting on very slim columns. So that structure was bound to collapse. Now, what it means from what I saw is that the collapse certainly came from the columns. The columns, what you guys call the pillars, were substandard and of low strength. Now I'm going to typify it so that you understand. It's just like giving a small child, maybe a 5-year-old child, you put a bag of garri on his head. What will happen? He will fall down. He cannot carry it. You understand? He cannot carry it. Now, if you look at the sizes of the beams, here I saw 25 mm high-yield reinforcement bars. I saw 30 mm high-yield reinforcement bars. I saw 16 and all. Now, if you look at the beams are as thick as 600 mm, which is 2 foot, right? Yes. All of those beams are resting on very slim columns.
Yes, gentlemen, we heard that the explanation of the special advisor to the governor of special projects, who is himself a surveyor and a structural engineer. He described, what caused the possible collapse of that building and the texture and the structure of the building. the slabs were not, you talked about poor management of the materials, substandard materials and all of that. What do you have to say? Haven't listened to him.
I can corroborate some of the things he just talked about. Like for instance, he mentioned the beams. If you look at the beams, you will see that they are
tiny.
All big. No, they are huge.
Huge. But standing on a tiny pillars.
The And the funny thing is that you discover that the rod or the iron inside the beam is bigger than the one inside the pillars. And the beams are supposed to rest on the pillars. So that's some structural defects. But however, because I'm not a professional, I'll leave it to them. Then one other observation is that they said that at the end of the iron, you no longer use binding wire for that kind of huge structure. But what you need to do is to weld it together.
Yeah.
We didn't see that. So I think that at the end of the day,
so it has structural defect.
A whole lot
went wrong.
Unraveled.
Now we were made to understand that the owner of the building was being arrested, and how do you confirm that?
Yeah, I think an order was given for his arrest, and I was made to understand that that has taken place. I didn't see it myself, but I was made to understand that that has taken place.
Now, how do we avoid future occurrence of this kind of disasters? As you know, just before you, let's Dr. IPALIBO SOGULE tell us, how do we avoid future occurrence of this kind of disaster?
Your call is being...
what?
Go on.
Like what they have stated, we have different approval authorities, and we have different people that supervises the building processes. So if we can adhere to policies and implementation, from the approval, from the planning of the building to approval to the foundation stage being handled by professionals, I think it will be limited. The first time we have this was when a circular school fell down. I think that was some years ago, a couple of years ago. And after then, we have not really had a major issues like this. And this is the second time such things is happening. So I think the government is to implement whatever the inquiry will bring up. It will prevent
now, Honorable Commissioner, if you recall, when the governor visited, one of the things he said was that any party that is involved will be punished for wrongdoing, including government officials. How far has this been effected?
Yeah, he's a man of his word. Like I said, he truly loves our people, the Rivers people. Yeah, he was paid, so he said anyone involved in this will have to give way. I think as at yesterday, the Commissioner for Urban Development has stepped aside, which is an honorable thing to do, so that the investigation can take place. Because you can't be the head, and at the same time you're being investigated. And what we are doing here, we want the federal government to borrow a lead from us. At the federal government level, if you see people investigated, they remain in office. Then if government officials do something wrong, nothing happens to them. And when somebody that is not in that kind of office or somebody in opposition does something, then they will go after the person. You see, there shouldn't be any selective kind of punitive measures. I think that it should cost across the board, because the law should be meant for all of us. So the commissioner has done an honorable thing. He has stepped aside so that they can do the investigation.
Gentlemen,
I also think that the civil servants that are involved in this, His Excellency has said that they would equally have to step aside until full investigation is done.
Gentlemen, we'll get to a more incisive segment of this program when we return from the break. Don't go away.
Stewardship with SNB. holds you to account on
Whether you're in
stewardship.
school or not, any opportunity we create for skill acquisition, please avail yourself that opportunity. Like I said, you can
If you
also
live around there, you know that they have what is called bush market. Very early in the morning, as early as 4 o'clock, down the road.
I'm a lawyer.
And during
Let him sue me. The man has not cited one project, constituency project, from that 1990.
If they are there,
Today.
I'm saying they are not much. If they are there in the element, I don't want to join issue with my brother.
Watch Stewardship with SNB whenever, wherever, however, this time on RSTV.
You're on to the program in the studios of River State Television, Channel 22, Port Harcourt. My guests today on the program are Dr. John BAZIA, the Honorable Commissioner for Special Duties, who had just left the collapsed building site to the studio here. And also we have Dr. IPALIBO SOGULE, who is the MD CEO of River State Microfinance Agency. Gentlemen, you're welcome again to the program. Now we're talking about collapsed building. Honorable Commissioner, let me put this to you. You are just coming from there. Are there likely survivors still under the rubble?
Yeah, I see the likelihood of those who could still survive if they are there, because the bad thing is that we don't know the exact number. You know, we've been having difficulty with that.
Yeah, there are conflicting reports as to how many persons were in the
there.
building.
But let me tell you from the person who was there on the spot when it happened, one of their supervisors, he said that already they have finished work for that day. And some were taking their bath on an open side, just within the premises, that the place is open. So a lot of them were taking their bath. It was actually those that have finished and heard that the money has come, that rushed there.
Honorable Commissioner, let's give opportunity to our viewers to participate. And then, hello, good afternoon.
Good day, sir.
Good afternoon. You're on to our STV program. Yes. You may say your name and tell us where you're calling from, please.
Yes, I'm calling from Port Harcourt. My name is Olu.
Your name is what? Olo calling from Port Harcourt. Thank you so much for calling.
Yes. What I want to say about this collapse of this building is that the only advice I will give is that they should seize the engineers' insurance certificates that make him or qualify him to be an engineer. They should seize it so that he will not continue with this type of a thing some of that time.
Okay.
Because if they do not withdraw that certificate as engineer from him, he will continue to with this act. You can imagine people's life.
Yes.
Somebody's husband, somebody's father, somebody's uncle.
Oh, it's pathetic.
Improving this type of act.
It's pathetic.
I don't know what so many engineers today what they are. Engineer that cannot lose his tire when the tire is part of the road. This is an engineer. People go to higher institution and obtain certificates anyhow. Look at the building.
Yes. Olo, thank you so much.
That is my advice. We should withdraw certificates that qualify him to be an engineer.
Olo, thank you so much for calling. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Olo says the certificate of the engineer should be withdrawn. I was also going to ask you, Honorable Commissioner and Dr. IPALIBO SOGULE, where is the place of the city engineer? That building is located in the heart of Port Harcourt local government area. And it is expected that the city engineer should also perform a role before a building plan can be given approval.
I think as we speak, Corin, you know, that's the organization. They've come to ask for permission to get some samples of the materials that were used. And I've granted them that permission. You know, they will also study what is there because they have the right to discipline members. They can even withdraw the certificate.
Okay.
So like what that gentleman just said, yeah, there is a possibility that if they are found culpable, the engineers, if they have found one thing, that Corin will do something about it. Standard organization, they've also come. They've also asked that I grant them access. And I have done that because we really, really want to unravel all that has happened and all the factors that led to this collapse because we would not want to witness a thing like this again.
Okay, gentlemen, we were going to discuss the collapse building intermittently with governance and politics. We still have quite a good number of time to play with. Now, the signing of the National Peace Pact, 79 days to the general elections in 2019. Former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, yesterday was on national TV canvassing for a treaty, a peace treaty, amongst the presidential candidates of the various political parties, and of course, the chairmen and secretaries of political parties. What does it portend for 2019? First, BAZIA.
Well, to me, it's about those who are at the federal level. For those of us here, it is very clear. I think that when it comes to governance, there's some difference between the PDP and the APC. In the case of the PDP, they allowed those that won elections. That's why back then, Lagos State could be a different political party from the PDP, even when they were at the helms of affairs. That's why Ondo State could be a different political party. In fact, there was a time Ondo State was Labour Party. And you come to Anambra, you have ABGA and all that. That's the beauty of democracy. The people's will that was freely expressed should be allowed to stand. But right now, the case is different. Right now, the people are being stampeded into accepting a political party, whether they like it or not. But we can refer to what just happened in the United States not too long ago. They just did their midterm elections. You can see that the margin of victory was very slim, and it was allowed. But you can see the case of Osun State, where somebody was leading, and the margin of victory was higher than what is obtainable in the United States. But suddenly they cancelled those votes and added a rerun.
You will continue with that thought, but let's just watch a video where the elder statesman, former head of state, General Abdulsalam Abubakar, will just address Nigerians. Studio, please assist us.
We have taken note. There are certain flagged areas in the states where he wants the peace committee to intervene in order to bring peace so that election will be conducted. On our part, we'll do the best we can in order to help sanitize the political arena. You members of the press have also a role and a duty to educate our people and the politicians so that when they go on campaigning, they campaign on issues. And there should be quality without bitterness. There shouldn't be any rom-com. You will also help us educate our citizens so that they avoid being used as facts during campaign and during elections. You will also help us educate Nigerians on their citizens' rights to ensure that they check that they receive their PBCs and ensure that their names are properly registered.
Yes, gentlemen, we saw Abdulsalam Abubakar advising Nigerians and, of course, every one of us on how to eschew bitterness in the forthcoming general elections and, of course, to avoid politics of bitterness and rancor and, of course, abusive political campaign. Dr. IPALIBO, you are a financial expert, but you are a party man as well. In fact, I remember you aspired to be the chairman of Degema local government area and later dropped your ambition. So you are a party man. You can best discuss politics. What do you think has necessitated this address by the elder statesman?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. I think it's long overdue, and thank God the elder statesman are stepping in. And like what the Honorable Commissioner told you, what after the election that was conducted in Edo, Ekiti, and Osun, you can see that the APC left federal government want to win at all costs. That brings crisis. Because once you subvert the will of the people, they are meant to be demonstration. And you see hoodlum hijacking the demonstration to cause mayhem in the society. And that's exactly what the general is advising INEC. That look, you should play by the rules. Play by the rules. Campaign should be issue-based rather than on flagrant people. So when you conduct election in that manner, you see that a lot of sanity comes to play. Now, when you do election, you use the police to interrogate, to intimidate, to harass people and rig the election. It causes violence, and people, that little or less people can take. So it is better for them to conduct a credible election in order to avoid such things, because we're not ready for violence in the country. So they should conduct a credible election. And it was
So the elder statesman is calling on the presidential candidates and of course the leadership of the various political parties to sign a peace pact before the election. What does that portend for 2019?
Well, it's well intentioned, if you ask me. What the elder statesmen are trying to do is well intentioned. It's a good one. But the important thing is the key player. You know, is the key player. And in this case, we are talking about APC. If these results are going to be good and acceptable, if it is going to be a fair and free election, they will dictate the pace. Because you can even see they control the INEC. And they control the security apparatus of the states. And so if there is any trouble or any problem, they are the ones that will create room for such a problem. Why I'm saying this is that, you know, we need a free and fair election to some large extent, even when at some point, you know, it became obvious that certain things went wrong. The president we had then, President Goodluck Jonathan, decided that his office was not worth the blood of any Nigerian. And he decided to accept the results. That's patriotism. That's about a leader that loves his people. So I think that in this regard, the APC will be exemplary, starting from the president. He is the one who will create that level playing field, that enabling environment that can bring about fair and free elections.
Let's hear from the INEC chairman, his response to the elder statesman. Studio, please, let's hear that one. Let's listen.
Free and fair elections, including the registration of voters, making the PVCs available for collection when the elections, and some of the issues and challenges that we are facing, for which we have sought for the support of the National Police Committee, with the chairman has adequately briefed. So basically, this is a routine meeting with the National Police Committee, and more of these interactions are planned ahead of the signing of the National Peace Accord involving the presidential candidates and the chairman of political parties. Free and fair elections, including the registration of voters, making the PVCs available for collection when the elections, and some of the issues and challenges that we are facing, for which we have sought for the support of the National Police Committee, with the chairman has adequately briefed. So basically, this is a routine meeting with the National Police Committee, and more of these interactions are planned ahead of the signing of the National Peace Accord involving the presidential candidates and the chairman of political parties.
Yeah, we saw in that video the INEC chairman, Mahmoud, agreeing to what the elder statesman, General Salam Abubakar, had canvassed. Do you have a contrary opinion?
Yeah, I think action speaks louder than words. For about 3 years running now, of course, the APC came and hoodwinked Nigerians, making them to believe that they were going to bring about change. But you and I can see that they are far off from bringing about positive change, because like I've always said, change could be either in reverse, it could take us back, or it could take us forward. So far, I think it has taken us back. This is retrogression. This is retrogression. And it was based on propaganda. Half-truths embedded with lots of lies. So what they say is not what they do. It's not the first time you will hear the INEC chairman say that. He said that before Osho State. He said that before Ekiti. And all these elections were very glaring. You and I, let's be very honest. If you ask Nigerians to vote today, whom would they vote for? If a bag of rice was 7,000 when President Goodluck Jonathan was in office, like 3 years ago, and today a bag of rice is 20,000, do you need to ask anybody who he should vote for? Obviously, you know that all these elections in Ekiti and Oshun and wherever they are doing elections, they're all stolen mandates. They're all stolen mandates. The people know how they feel as we speak. The economy is in a terrible state. The exchange rate, when Jonathan was there, was 150 to $1. As we speak today, what is the exchange rate? These are indices through which you can judge and see if this government has done well or not. We are talking about reality. So you can't fool the people. They are the ones going to the market to buy the food stocks. Things are difficult now. So ordinarily, because human beings, we have mental ability. We all know that the former administration is better than the one here. And in all the elections they've done so far, the people are desirous that there should be change and that PDP should come back. They have been subverting the free will of the people, and that is wrong.
Honorable Commissioner, let me first ask Dr. IPALIBO SOGULE that despite the Supreme Court nullifying the processes that brought the flag bearer of APC here in the state, they are still crisscrossing every nooks and crannies with supposed campaigns and all of that. One would have expected that his name too wouldn't have been included in INEC list, but INEC went ahead to include his name. What does that mean?
Of course, the Honorable Commissioner will be telling you a lot of the cities going on. Now, when the Supreme Court interpreted a lot of lower court judgments, some of them say that it's merely administrative, they try to misinform the public. But that was it. For INEC, yes, Supreme Court only gave instruction that the lower court judgment should be obeyed and that will pass it. Now, they have another way of subverting which they are trying to deceive the people. By the end of the day, the court will still give it because you will still get to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court will still address it and give judgment. For INEC, yes, maybe they've not gotten a copy of the judgment, they're still following, of course, INEC is an advantage of APC, is very clear in the country. So they are going to do their bit. They're going to do their bit. So by the time the cases go get to Supreme Court, the various cases involved get to Supreme Court, Supreme Court gives their judgment, they will now know finally where they have.
Honorable Commissioner, over to you.
Well, I think that the APC is making the world understand what they stand for. They are not for constitutionalism. They are after grabbing power, for power's sake. Because if you grab power and you're performing, people will understand. But if you grab power for power's sake, then there's a problem. We can have a democracy and it will thus appear as if we are under a military regime. That is wrong. So I think that they are not being honest with Nigerians. But the good thing is that Nigerians are watching them. Nigerians are watching them because the Supreme Court is the last court of the land. And whatever they say is supreme. They didn't just call it Supreme Court. It is Supreme Court because it's supreme. Their decisions are final. You can't go negotiating after they must have given their judgment. And all citizens, including the president, including political parties, are supposed to obey decisions of the Supreme Court. That's why we have the Constitution. And the Constitution is supreme. And the Constitution spells out what should happen. So I think that we are not in a democracy here. And they are proving to the world that we are not in a democracy. But we'll see the end of it with this judgment.
Honorable Commissioner, how prepared is your party in the next year's general elections, governorship?
Our party is very, very prepared, in the sense that we have delivered. We are about the luckiest state in Nigeria, because our governor has overperformed, if there is a word like that. I mean, you can see it in all the nooks and crannies of this state. You can see what this administration has done. It's just some federal government at some point in time, they were trying to commission local government projects as federal government because they didn't have any projects to commission. But such times, we were commissioning 20, 30 projects at the same time. In short, there was a time that for a whole month, nearly a month plus, every day we were commissioning projects. So I think that the infrastructure put in place, the development brought about by His Excellency would speak for us and is counting for us. And to me, that's the only way to be prepared for elections, so that your results will speak for you and your people will vote for you.
Dr. Sogul, how prepared is PDP to re-elect Governor Wike 2019?
Yeah, PDP is well prepared, like what the commissioner told you. The governor has performed credibly. You can see various infrastructure. I was driving from office to station. I did not enter any portal, so that means he has done very well. In all the local governments, you see the hospitals working. In all the local governments, the schools going on very well. I remember in the past administration, some of the roads are closed down and companies begin to leave Port Harcourt. The Transamadi, which is the hub of business in Port Harcourt, was closed down for 7 days. And you can see how companies were suffering. Some of them relocated. But you can pass Transamadi now, and the companies have started coming back. Activities. At a stage, Odili Road was the busiest road, abandoning Transamadi Road. And you can hardly see vehicles moving on Transamadi Road. But today, Transamadi Road has picked up, working very well because of the road construction that has taken place there. It is first-class road, international standard road that is there. So PDP is well prepared for the election. Their mobilization in all the local government is intact. And you can see the sensitization going on now as it stands now. Everywhere is PDP in the state. River State is PDP. There's no, everybody knows.
Dr. Soguls, in few sentences, how would you want to describe, or how would you want to say that you have replicated the governor's goodwill through the office he has given to you as the man in charge of loan disbursement to market women and traders? Yes.
Yeah, that we have done very well. I remember before we came in, that agency from inception only gave us 700 million. From inception before we came in, between 2015, 700 million they'll give out. Now, between 2015 to 2017, the agency gave out about 1.3 billion. In this 2018, we have given out 1.2 billion to businesses to do their business.
2018, this year?
2018, yeah, this year. As at November now, we have given out 1.2 billion to businesses to do their businesses. So you can see that we have replicated the governor's effort. We are trying to ensure that the economic base of the state bounce back, which the government is working hard. So that is what we have done so far.
Dr. BAZIA, your last words to Rivers people.
My last word is that we should come all out to support His Excellency, who is doing a wonderful job, to our own people. We, as those he has charged with the responsibility of ensuring that we optimize and enhance the performance of his vision, we are at it. And we won't give up on Rivers people, because we love Rivers State. This is our state. Once again, let me thank His Excellency for his vision that is taking us to the next level, and also express heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families, those that lost their lives
at the ill-fated
at
building
the
collapse.
ill-fated building collapse in Woji Road, GI.
We do hope that more bodies will be recovered alive. Well, it is on that note I want to draw the curtains on this program, on this segment of the program, Stewardship. I want to thank you immensely for being a part of the program. To my guest, first, Dr. John BAZIA, thank you so much for being a part of the program.
Thank you very much.
And to Dr. IPALIBO SOGULE, I want to
much.
thank you immensely for being a part of the program. My name is Solomon Nelson Braid, signing off to join you again next time, same station, on the same program, Stewardship. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Bye-bye.
Stewardship with SNB.